Councilmember Vanderbilt.
Just a quick question. Could you go back to that previous slide? So at this second to last sentence says that there's 156 individuals with housing and services valued at $3.2 million. So that looks like a lot of money for each individual. Is that a fair cost of what it takes to provide somebody all these wraparound services and permanent housing?
Yeah, I didn't do the math on that one. I know that these are the annual renewals for these. It includes the Shelter Plus Care Voucher Program, which is paying fair market rents for individuals in addition to providing the services that go to that housing. So within there, that's going to be a little bit more expensive. The 3 projects above are just receiving only operating and support services as they were already built and in place.
Thank you for the clarification.
Councilmember Fessel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question is, of the 156 individuals that you're noting here, how many of those are off the streets in 2016? In other words, this past year, of the 156, how many are we helping new?
I don't have that information, but I'd be happy to look that up and get back to Christine Ridge.
We haven't. I'm not putting you on. Not trying to put you on the spot.
I think
half, 10.
Most of this is permanent. No, most of this is permanent supportive housing. So we hope that those individuals are staying housed within these developments and within the Shelter Plus Care program. Really, the movement's going to be in the Shelter Plus Care program if those were additional vouchers given out to individuals.
Councilmember Fessel, when Grace talks about our Housing Authority program, she can give you some recent current numbers of individuals we've moved off the street.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
Mayor. Councilmember Barnes.
I'm curious, what zip codes are those in, or where would they be across Anaheim? Those facilities.
Right.
Tyrol is in 92806, but District 4.
Melinda Lane. Okay.
Tyrol Plaza is also a project-based development, so it's off of State College, not too far from Lincoln, right across from the park. That's there. It's Boysen Park. And that's a senior development, so the homeless population that we are helping there is actually disabled homeless seniors, so that's a very unique project. More of our recent homeless projects tend to be for families with children, but this is the only one that we're involved with that actually directly targets seniors.
Councilmember Moreno.
Thank you for coming out to share with us information. For some, it might be something they already know or repetitive, but for many of us, it's the first time we get a chance to try to figure some things out together with the county. So one of my questions is, what is the county's total budget towards homelessness to resolve, as the commission or as the End Homelessness Commission says, to end chronic homelessness? What's the total budget?
Right, so there aren't specific budgets for homelessness, but within, Susan Price had done a homeless assessment, and there is an attachment within that homeless assessment report on the various resources that are available to addressing homelessness. Within the dedicated resources in 16-17, there were estimated total of county resources of $94 million. That includes everything from CalFresh and CalWorks to homeless liaison officers, to public works projects, to mental health treatment, to this $22 million in continuum of care funding, VASH vouchers that we have at our housing authority. So that's just some of the broad nature of what's in there.
So it's about $94 million?
Yes, in 16, 17, those were dedicated resources. There's much more available, such as in the CalFresh and CalWorks programs, but that's not necessarily all dedicated to homeless individuals.
Okay. So this is my second question. So when we look at the number you're just giving us there, that 156 people are covered with 3.2 million, is it too simplistic? I assume it might be, but $94 million, we multiply that times 30, that covers 156 times 30. So if it costs us $3.2 million, is that, am I reading that right, your chart?
It's an estimated value of 3.2 million
Is
of
how much we
those three
spend.
projects and
Right.
the 124 vouchers.
Right, so for that effort to house 156 individuals, that includes services, because we're hearing a lot about wraparound services is critical, right? You just don't drop people into housing. And that costs us 3.2 million or so to provide that for 156 people?
Yeah, it's a bit of apples to oranges because
Okay.
there are the three projects up above that don't count the cost of having built those developments. They just only include the ongoing services and operations funding they get from this continuum of care program.
Okay. And my third question then is, there are, my understanding is $2 billion that was allocated by the state, and this is from the Senate Pro Tem, Kevin De Leon at a recent event, approximately $2 billion that's coming down to the counties to provide housing support. Is our county aggressively going to pursue those monies? Do we know how much the estimate would be for us? And how can we help you assure that that money gets used to end homelessness in Orange County?
Definitely. That's No Place Like Home funding that I believe you're referring to. That is the state having taken the county's Mental Health Services Act allocations. So they're taking funding from the local counties to bond at the state for a housing program. There's a certain amount of that funding that will be non-competitive, and we'll have roughly a year to 18 months to have developments come forward to commit those funds to. We're in the process with our healthcare agency. Our department in housing community development has a memorandum of understanding with our healthcare agency. They're the services side of this because this housing will be only eligible for Mental Health Services Act eligible clients, those that are enrolled in the mental health system and have a seriously and persistent mental illness. So it's a very targeted set of housing money, but we just met with them and we hope to convene with our developers that are, have projects within the pipeline to encourage the development of these units, to encourage more development of this. So yes, we are trying to aggressively go after that funding and at least recapture those non-competitive funds. There are more funds available that will be competitive on a statewide basis. Unfortunately, we're not Los Angeles, who got their own allocation. A portion of our allocation is also going to be competitive, so it'll be up to communities that can site and place affordable housing developments that will serve these eligible clients to have those developments come forward for this funding.